Akanksha Swaroop, and we are coming live to you from CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, presented by Green Lamb Laminates. The Delhi police on Thursday arrested and deported a Bangladeshi national living in India under fake documents in an ongoing crackdown on illegal migrants. With this latest arrest, the Delhi police have now arrested and deported at least 30 illegal Bangladeshi migrants in the last 3 days alone. The series of arrests are part of a 2-month verification drive launched by the Delhi police to identify, even deport illegal migrants following Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saksena's directive for the same. Political parties are now clashing over illegal migrants and voter manipulation allegations just ahead of Delhi's assembly polls. A war of words has erupted in the national capital, this over the issue of illegal migrants residing in Delhi. Political parties are accusing each other of using these migrants as a potential voter base and providing them shelter for electoral gains. As a result, the issue of illegal migrants has become key topic in the run-up to the Delhi Assembly elections. Moreover, Bengal's Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee today stepped in by slamming the centre. She says that the issue of illegal immigration from Bangladesh is the responsibility of the BSF, not her administration. The political war of words has escalated further in the national capital. This after the Aam Aadmi Party convener Arvind Kejriwal penned a letter also to RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat questioning RSS support to BJP. Now, in the latest, Congress leader Sandeep Dixit has slammed Arvind Kejriwal for AAP's letter to the RSS. He has called it contradictory to the party's anti-RSS stance and also jibed that besides the Bharatiya Janata Party, if there is one party with the Sanghis, it is the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, coming to the core issue of illegals that's dominating the headlines today, the timing of Delhi police's crackdown on illegal Bangladeshis is particularly of importance. Why so? More so after Kejriwal stirred the hornet's nest by demanding that Union Minister Hardeep Puri be arrested, and he blamed him and Home Minister Amit Shah for settling the Rohingyas in Delhi. Who is responsible for the illegal influx? That's the moot question that we will be debating tonight. And with that, let me introduce our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Pradeep Bhandari, who's the national spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, Kushagra Saxena, who's the spokesperson for the Congress Party, Dr. Shelly Oberoi, who's the spokesperson for the Aam Aadmi Party, and Ms. Smrita Prakash, who we all know is the editor of ANI. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in. Let's get the facts straight. Pradeep, if I may begin with you, the biggest allegation of the day has come in from Mamata Banerjee, who says that this is the blueprint of the union government because your BSF, she in fact refers to BSF as belonging to the centre, which it is of course, is allowing Bangladeshi infiltration, and this is a deliberate attempt to destabilize the peace in Bengal in fact.
Well, Kansha, the facts are that out of 2,216.7 kilometers of border, we've already fenced 81.5% of it. The Honorable Home Minister has categorically said that it is the West Bengal administration, in particular Mamata Banerjee's party, for vote bank compulsions. Her administration is allowing making of fake voter ID card racket in Bengal, and we've seen that being exposed by repeatedly in the last few months. And if you recall and remember the statement of Bobby Hakim, who said that he wants to see a Muslim majority Bengal, and if you recall how Humayun Kabir wants to drown the Hindus in Bengal, it is absolutely clear that the TMC wants to attempt to do so by illegally getting the Rohingyas and giving them fake voter ID card. Now, our intent has been always clear. In 2021, if you recall, when the Rohingya issue was there, we had taken a stand, and that is also a stand which we had taken in the court, that we do not believe in providing any sort of A, voter ID cards, B, ration to the Rohingyas. It was Amantullah Khan during the time of COVID distributing rations to the Rohingyas and 10,000 rupees to the Rohingyas. And our charge is the following. How is it possible that the Aam Aadmi Party, in particular Mr. Sanjay Singh, is a voter from two constituencies, Tilak Nagar and Harinagar? How is it possible that Mahesh Kumar, who has been a mayor, has his wife's voter ID card in the name of Mamta and Nidhi both? And if you recall, it is not a charge that we are only making. In 2015, Mr. Kejriwal had said that 8 lakh fake voters have been registered in Delhi. So if Mr. Kejriwal in 2015 believes so that fake voter IDs have been registered in Delhi, how Mr. Kejriwal in 2025 can deny that when we are raising that allegation? And in 10 seconds I will complete. Recall August 2013 when Sheila Dikshit was in Delhi and Congress was in power in UPA. 13 lakh fake voters were removed from the electoral list by the Election Commission in Delhi in run-up to the elections in assemblies of Delhi. So that happened in 2013. So if we are bringing some facts in front of the Election Commission,
right,
why is the Aam Aadmi Party getting racket? It is because that Amatullah Khan runs the fake voter ID racket and backs the Rohingyas.
All right, that's a massive allegation coming in. Dr. Shelley Oberoi, what is the harm if bogus voters are being removed? And, going by what Arvind Kejriwal said, that, Hardeep Puri and Amit Shah are the ones who are settling these Rohingyas. Now when there's a crackdown happening, what's the problem? Where is the problem, in fact?
Thank you, Kanksha. Hello, everyone. And as the BJP spokesperson said that Aam Aadmi Party is responsible for the settling of the Rohingyas. But I think it is the centre who is responsible for the settlement of those people in different parts of India, in different parts of Delhi. Because of the centre, they allow them to enter Delhi and allow them to enter India illegally, crossing the 6 states, and then they are coming to Delhi. And when they reach Delhi, the central government provide them houses and officially help them to settle there. That is a proof. The tweet which was done by Hardeep Puri ji, that is a proof. He himself accepted that. He himself accepted that they are welcoming Rohingyas in the capital city of Delhi, and then they are going to provide them EWS houses, and they're also ready to provide them the basic amenities as well as the police protection. So I think Hardeep Puri ji should be arrested immediately, and then we will get the exact data.
No,
and
I have a question. Priyank Kanugu of the NHRC went to the Delhi shelter. Who gives these refugees space in Delhi shelters? Are you saying that they don't come under your government?
What a security force? Are they?
It is becoming a classic. It is becoming a classic. Every time you pose a question to Aam Aadmi Party, Pat comes a reply. What about? And it is classic whataboutery. It is classic whataboutery.
Voter people who are being added in the voter list. After the 2 months review process, how the Bharatiya Janata Party is doing in different constituency of Delhi. What happened in the New Delhi in the past few days? More than 100 voters were deleted from the voter list, and approximately 7,500 fake voters
I just want to ask you,
after the 2 months of the review process,
Dr. Shelley Oberoi, Delhi is about to go into election. I am sure that Delhi's Janata wants to know what did the ruling party do. Would you not want to also address the anti-incumbency sentiment? What did the Delhi government do? And I'm asking you particularly, when let's talk about these Delhi shelter homes to stop the
Delhi
refugees.
government has been successfully done all their promises, fulfilled all their promises, whether it is associated with school, good education, good hospital services.
I wish Priyank Kanugu would concur with that. I wish Priyank Kanugu of NHRC would concur with that. But Mr. Kanugu himself said that there was nothing being done, and he himself
interacted. What Bharatiya Janata Party is doing, Bharatiya Janata Party is playing a dual phase. They are doing creating a false narrative of blaming Aam Aadmi Party for everything. What they have done in the past few days, I think now even every citizen of our country knows that they are playing a dual phase.
You are lying. First of all, Shelley, you need to apologize to spread fake news on air. This is Mr. Hardeep Puri's tweet on 17th August 2022, and he categorically has said that the Home Ministry's position on Rohingya is final. So stop lying. Your party has apologized in the court. Mr. Kejriwal and Sanjay Singh has apologized in the past for leveling fake allegations. So I would appeal to you, stop leveling fake allegations, and if you are clear on Rohingya, will your party officially support an NRC? That is my charge. Because when the NRC was being attempted to be implemented, you opposed it. And why have you bagged Amatullah Khan, who is distributing 10,000 rupees to Rohingyas? Stop lying.
protect in Hinduism, and on the other side,
Stop lying, Shelly. Stop lying. Amatullah Khan is openly backing the Rohingyas. The Delhi police is cracking down every single day. Akansha, if she's serious on the Rohingya issue, will her party back an NRC?
You people are ordering demolition of temples.
Dr. Oberoi, there's still not a clear-cut response coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party, especially when it comes to these dual registrations of Mr. Sanjay Singh and his wife as well.
See, in the name of Rohingyas, what BJP is doing is BJP is deleting the votes of our brother and sister who belong from Purvanchal.
Stop lying. Stop lying again. If you were so serious about the Purvanchalis, you would have cleared you would have cleaned Yamuna. No, why? I challenge her. Name one genuine voter which has been deleted.
I want to bring in Kushagra.
The Aam Aadmi Party is a fake news party.
Kushagra, I want to bring you in. You know, everybody is saying that why is this crackdown happening now? Given that this has been a problem that Delhi's been witnessing for over a decade, I'm sure you'll also agree, especially when the Congress party was in power.
Thank you, Kanksha, and wishing everyone a very happy new year. And let me clear one thing here. The tussle you're seeing between the BJP and Aam Aadmi Party, it actually clearly states that Delhi is in the worst phase right now, because both are busy in the blame game. AAP is blaming BJP, BJP is blaming Aam Aadmi Party. No one is concerned and no one is talking a single thing about the citizens of Delhi. Since 2013, since the Congress government is out of power from Delhi, Delhi is in its worst phase, and once Delhi has been called as the world-class capital because it took 15 years under Sheila Dikshit ji's government. We have transformed the entire Delhi from a rival state to a world-class capital. Delhi was became a model for every city and every part of the state in the entire nation. Even Prime Minister Modi and other BJP leaders and other opposition party people also praise Delhi. This is the problem with these two, that they are not concerned about Delhi, and when we are here to make them accountable, कि आप लोगों ने 12 साल में दिल्ली के लिए किया क्या है, what you have done and what you have delivered to my city. Because today in your panel, moreover a Congress
I think you have not seen the report card of Aam Aadmi Party.
Let me complete. I didn't interfere in between. I will not let you speak if you don't, if you interrupting me. Just let me speak. Just let me speak.
Right, go ahead, Kushak. Go ahead.
Try to listen. There was a time, when Delhi was, was habitual to see the infrastructure development, whether it's a transformation of public transport, healthcare system. But from the last 12 years, there is not a single thing has been done in Delhi, and for the people of Delhi. That's why he is aligned with the
Aam Aadmi Party.
Yeah, both the BJP and Aam Aadmi Party are here, and now it's been more than 12 years. BJP is in the center, Aam Aadmi Party
but Akansha, if he is so much caring for Delhi, why is he aligned with the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab? Officially, he is in alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab.
Let me complete.
No, but you are in alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab.
Let me complete. We are talking about Delhi here.
You cannot look at a party in isolation. Why are you in alliance with a party which you are blaming in Delhi?
Kushag, I think the question that's being raised,
because the general election was based on the national interest.
Abhi in the Chandigarh poll there is no national interest. Manish Tiwari still openly said you are in alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party.
हम लोग स्टेट का बात कर रहे हैं.
अरे आप आम आदमी पार्टी आपके दिल्ली में खराब है, पंजाब में अच्छी है, ऐसे थोड़ी हो सकता है.
बीच में नहीं बोला था.
नहीं, पर आप झूठ बोल रहे हैं. आप उसके साथ अलायंस में, आप हमें मत ब्लेम करो, आप उनके साथ अलायंस में हो.
झूठ आप बोल रहे हैं.
कैसे आप अलायंस में?
I need to quickly go across to Smita. I'd like to go across to Smita. Smita, first of all, thank you so patiently for waiting your turn. Smita, I want to ask you, when you look at this crackdown, whether it is the Chief Minister ordering for schools to do a roundup of who are these illegal Bangladeshi students in the schools, we've seen a drive being taken up by the Delhi police. Many are asking, why is suddenly this sort of drive being embarked upon? Is this the pressure of Delhi election? What was the centre and what was the state doing for the last 10 years?
Thank you, Akanksha, and a happy new year to you and to your viewers. I totally agree with you. We were told that there are 20 million, if I'm not mistaken, illegal Bangladeshis in India. So why are these drives being done now with 20 being caught, 10 being caught, 4 being paraded? It all seems really bizarre. But bizarre, I guess, is something which goes, commonplace with Delhi now. what the people want is a solution to the problems, which is controlling the pollution, which is curbing crime, which is managing infrastructure, making a capital which 1.8 billion Indians should be proud of. If we are going to become a Viksit Bharat, that's something that we all want to be proud of. You have the Congress spokesperson on your show going on talking about the fantastic time of Sheila Dikshit. It's how many 2 decades since she lost the election, and they're still clinging on. And those decision makers in the Congress party are people who have lost election after election in Delhi, and they're asked to manage elections in other states. You have the Aam Aadmi Party writing to the RSS, which is so weird anyway. Absolutely. This kind of Noora Kushti doesn't make sense. And then you have them talking about farmers' agitation while sitting in Delhi. How many farmers in Delhi? Why are you talking about farmers' agitation in Delhi? And then you have the BJP, which has not got its act together for 25 years. When was the last time that you had a chief minister face for this city? You're campaigning, you don't have a face. How many elections are you going to lose by just cribbing and complaining about Arvind Kejriwal? And then you have Arvind Kejriwal, who's made it clear that he's going to be chief minister. So you have a woman chief minister after 2 decades who's just a placeholder. What is it showing? It's just showing that Delhi is so ill-served by its politicians. You know, when you land in Delhi, your eyes are smarting. You land in Raipur, Kanpur, Tiruvananthapuram, anywhere, it is so pleasant. It is green, it's beautiful, the roads are good, clean, swachh, absolutely.
And you know, politicians, the analogy that comes to mind is politicians running around like headless chickens. I think what perhaps caught my attention was that letter that was penned by Arvind Kejriwal. It's also become a letter war of sorts. Dr. Shelly Oberoi, the Aam Aadmi Party Chief, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, is in fact being accused of being a Sanghi now that he's penned that letter. I'd like your thoughts.
First of all, I would like to comment what Smita just said that about the farmers. Let me tell you, India is the second largest producer of the farm output, and it contributes a lot to the economy. It contributes a lot to the gross value added and provide livelihood to approximately 42%.
Exactly. Then why are you not implementing when the centre is bringing schemes?
BJP
when the centre brings schemes, तब आप उसको implement नहीं करेंगे.
And Bharatiya Janata Party has been so arrogant. Then at that time when the farmers were protesting, they were protesting and fasting unto death. At that time, why Bharatiya Janata Party was so silent? At that time, because they wanted to reintroduce a controversial 2023 farm black laws under the guides of the National Policy Framework on
all right, tell me now, Dr. Shelly Oberoi, what is stopping the Delhi government from implementing when the centre does come up with good welfare schemes?
Families of 700 farmers who lost their lives during the protest.
Now let's talk about what the cabinet has done for the farmers. Will you work in tangent with the centre? But I am going to take that back with Smita. Smita, whether it is the Ayushman Bharat scheme, the BJP has already accused them of not implementing it. They could have easily taken it forward. Or now you look at the scheme that's being launched for the farmers. That Shivraj Singh Chauhan has in fact appealed to the Chief Minister that please go ahead. Do you not think that whether it is the elderly, whether it is the Dalits or even the farmers, is the Janta of Delhi now becoming collateral damage to this sort of face-off between what the centre is doing and what's happening in Delhi?
So it's not a question of whether the schemes, they're not worried about the schemes. It's just become a political hot potato. I mean, you have Arvind Kejriwal saying that why is the BJP so arrogant? Why doesn't it talk to the farmers? And then what happens? The Delhi chief minister says that it's like Dawood talking about non-violence. You know, so what is the win-win situation? Talk or don't talk. If you talk, then you're a Dawood Ibrahim. If you don't talk, then you're arrogant. So it's neither way can the BJP win in this court.
No,
So
I'll tell you why they can win, because tomorrow itself Prime Minister will be visiting the slum rehabilitation program in Ashok Vihar, where a certain number of slums have now been converted into flats. The BJP can totally milk this to their advantage and say that, look, we've delivered what we promised.
See, all this is fine. This is something that happens during elections. But the people of Delhi are not impressed with this last minute things which are happening. They really I think most people have made up their minds. Frankly, there are no, this thing of undecided voters is something which I think we saw in Haryana elections, we saw it in the Maharashtra election. It is not the undecided voter, it is the silent voter. And I think most people have, in the city at least, have decided way back that, this is not something that they are, the unsightly and polarized battles that they saw happening all through 2024 is something that's going to repeat in the next few weeks in 2025. And that's something that they don't want happening in Delhi. I think everybody's sick and tired of this polarization and these fights which are happening, ugly fights which are happening. And as I said, the most odd thing was this letter written by Aam Aadmi Party to Mr. Bhagwat.
Which Dr. Oberoi has still not answered, because I wanted to ask you, Dr. Oberoi, Arvind Kejriwal has now been labelled as a Sanghi. How does it feel?
See, Bharatiya Janata Party will do every kind of dishonest and dirty politics.
Not, for a change, it is not Bharatiya Janata Party. Let me tell you, it is a Congress leader, Sandeep Dixit, who's called him a Sanghi, and it's all over the headlines today.
Bharatiya Janata Party is afraid of Arvind Kejriwal. Bharatiya Janata Party is afraid of
but
Aam
at
Aadmi
least
Party.
refer to a party's leader that you are in alliance with.
Of dirty politics, any kind of
in the country
tactics to win the elections. They will try to defame Arvind
But
Kejriwal.
Dr. Oberoi, again, I must say, you're the queen of digression. You're the queen of digression. You're still not referring to what Sandeep Dixit said. He said that today he's writing a letter to Mr. Mohan Bhagwat that makes him a Sanghi. Is Arvind Kejriwal a Sanghi or is he a rolling stone? Till yesterday.
And this time, Congress and BJP have an official alliance in Delhi. How they can defame Arvind Kejriwal, how they can capture different seats in Delhi. Congress is not even in existence. If we talk about Sandeep Dixit ji, ask them what they have done in last 10 years. Ask BJP what they have done in last 10 years in their own ruling states of Bharatiya Janata Party.
And I'd like to bring in Kushagra. Kushagra, I know you want to make a point, but I just have a very simple question. In fact, Pranab Mukherjee had addressed an RSS event in Nagpur back in the year 2018. Did that make him a Sanghi as well, because he had addressed that RSS event in 2018? Are you going to say that the late Pranab Dao was also a Sanghi?
Akanksha, let me clarify one thing here. If Pranab Mukherjee ji, attended our RSS event, he was the ex-president of our country,
right?
And in the entire, in his
so
entire
by that logic, you have a former chief minister of Delhi also.
Let me complete. The entire Delhi and the entire nation knows the moment Arvind Kejriwal, started India Against Corruption, it was backed by RSS, and it has been clearly stated by many people and many earlier participants of IAC and also earlier participants and leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. And second thing, I'm here, I'm openly challenging here. Mr. Sandeep Dixit has clearly challenged Arvind Kejriwal. Let's have an open debate in the New Delhi Assembly or wherever he wants to have a debate with Mr. Sandeep Dixit. Let's figure it out, who has done and what we have done in past and what they have done in these 10 or 12 years. So we are very much clear.
No, I'm going to come to that also, what the Congress is doing right now. I'm going to come to that. I have a question about that, but I'd let Pradeep make
Well, Akansha, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party are in an official alliance in Chandigarh. They are in an official alliance, and the Congress Party did an official alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party in Lok Sabha. They are two sides of the same coin. And it is too rich of the Aam Aadmi Party to speak about the farmers when the Supreme Court of India quoted and has said, your attitude that the Aam Aadmi Party's government in Punjab is of no reconciliation and you want the farmer Dhalewal to commit a suicide. This is what the Supreme Court had said, and they had pulled up the Punjab government. They are an anti-farmer government. Now I will tell you what we have done before just exposing her. We have till now in the last 10 years given projects worth 54,000 crore in Delhi. We have ensured that under the projects of PM Awas, 29,976 houses have been approved. We have also ensured a loan worth 2.37 lakh crore have been approved in Delhi. So the list is endless. But Shelly, 10 seconds, I will tell you, Shelly, can you name one woman in Punjab that you have deposited 100 rupees also in the last 3 years? Can you give it a guarantee that Delhi receives clean water? You are the responsible for MCD. The landfills are there in Ghazipur, Bhawana, everywhere. This is why the people are going to throw you out.
Those 3 landfills are given by the
अरे भैया
Bharatiya
एमसीडी
Janata
में भी अब
Party
आपकी
Act,
सरकार है,
Bharatiya
कचरे के
Janata
ढेर
Party
पूरे दिल्ली
was
के
only
अंदर
the
है,
NCD.
10,000
I have
कंप्लेंट टूटी
headed
सड़कों की
NCD for
दिल्ली
2
में आ चुकी
years.
है,
And I
एक
know
महिला
what
के
is
खाते में
connected
पैसा
that
नहीं
time.
डाला है आपने.
MCD
Shelly, and this is another thing. This is the letter of the Home Minister on 8th August 2017
Alright.
to every state government.
Kushagra, my last question now on this debate. Kushagra, I want to ask you, how desperate is the Congress to resort to vote bank politics that you will also give a ticket to Delhi riot accused Ishrat Jahan?
Let me clarify one thing. We are here to win the elections because Delhi is eyeing on Congress and Delhi is sick and tired of the theatrics of Aam Aadmi Party and BJP. They both are here to mislead the voters.
But
and
at
they
what
both are
cost?
here to mislead the Delhi. And
Kushagra, at
one
what
thing,
cost? At what
because
cost? Ishrat Jahan?
Ishrat Jahan has been like, it's a party decision, and the other thing
So
is
he's
that
backing a writer being given a ticket to win an election. No, he's officially
You
said
are-
that in a
you
to
are
win
under
an
the Home
election,
Ministry,
he will give writer
and
a
under
ticket.
Congress rule,
to win
there
an
was
election
not
will
a
give
single
terror
riot
accused a
happened
ticket.
in
This is
Delhi.
why Congress is
और
an
आप बात
anti-national
कर रहे
party.
हैं rights की।
So he is proven on the show you are an
2020 में
anti-national
दिल्ली
party.
में दंगे हुए तो आपकी
अरे तो दिल्ली
सरकार
में
थी।
दंगे हुए
आपके
टाइम्स
गृह
आम आदमी
मंत्रालय ने
पार्टी
क्या
के साथ,
किया
इशरत जहां
और आपकी
कांग्रेस
होम
पार्टी के
मिनिस्ट्री ने
साथ.
क्या किया?
आपने कह दिया कि
शीला
अगर आपकी
दीक्षित जी
सरकार
की
आएगी
सरकार
तो
में
दिल्ली में
कांग्रेस के
दंगाइयों
10
को
साल
टिकट
के
देंगे.
शासन में आज
You
तक
have
एक
said,
बार भी दिल्ली में दंगा
Akansha,
नहीं
I
हुआ
think
था
on your show,
और
Congress has
केजरीवाल के
admitted
रहते
it
हुए
will
राज्य
take
सरकार
support
और
of writers to win Delhi.
बीजेपी में रहते
And Aam
हुए
Aadmi Party
दिल्ली
did
में
the
दंगा
Delhi
हुआ,
riots
answerable आप
2020.
लोग हैं और आप लोग क्वेश्चन
अरे आप लोग क्या उनके साथ में अलायंस में
But-
घूमते हैं?
आप
No, it's deeply unfortunate. It's deeply unfortunate. I'd like to close with Smita Prakash's thoughts. Smita, tomorrow if I were to ask the Aam Aadmi Party or say even the Congress Party about the AIMIM giving Delhi rioters tickets, they'll be attacking the AIMIM. Today you hear what the Congress has to say in its defense. What do you make of the kind of vote bank politics? Till yesterday, it was promises being made to the Maulvis, which have still not been, fulfilled. Now it is the Granthis and the Pujaris. The Pujaris want to know what's the guarantee that their promises will be made. I'm now asking about vote bank politics, which is dominating Delhi's agenda.
Yes, I think it's very hard for even the Congress spokespersons on various channels to defend this ticket distribution that has happened. It's hard for anybody to defend this kind of polarized campaigning, polarized election that is happening. Unfortunately, it is something that we have been witnessing in this city, in Delhi, state, city, whatever you want to call it, for quite some time now. And really, people want a change. People want this ugliness to be over with. And somehow, as I said, issues get pushed back. I mean, we are given this ad nauseum that, oh, it's the farmers issue and aap annadata hai and things like that. And aap saans le sakte hain, na hum saans le sakte hain. And it's all because everybody knows the parali burning, but nobody will say anything.
Absolutely.
Nobody will say anything, So, and that the water you're drinking is bad, the soil is bad, the air is bad. Nobody will say anything.
The fact of the matter is, no welfare scheme, no freebie can assure you clean air to breathe. And I'll have to, in fact, end it with that since I'm running short of time. Many thanks to you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in on Brass Tacks. And with that, we have some breaking inputs, in fact, coming in. These are inside details of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and singer Diljit Dosanjh's meeting. They had a friendly and thoughtful chat where Diljit even talked about his Dilluminati tour and how his concerts have showed him how diverse the Indian culture is and what Mera Bharat Mahan really means. Those are the visuals that have in fact been going viral ever since Prime Minister had that tete-a-tete with Diljit Dosanjh, and this is in fact taking the internet by storm. Let's quickly go across to Aman Sharma, who's joining me on the phone line with more inputs. Aman, share the inside details with us.
Well, Akansha, what we are hearing through government sources is that both the Prime Minister and Diljit Dosanjh had a very friendly and a thoughtful chat. As you said, Diljit talked about his Dilluminati tour, how his concert had taken him across the country, showed how diverse the India culture is, what Mera Bharat Mahan really means, to which Prime Minister Modi mentioned that the travel has always been a big deal for leaders like Swami Vivekanand, Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, whose journeys across India, shaped their views and goals. Diljit Dosanjh, in fact, mentioned to the Prime Minister that India could host events even bigger than the Coachella Festival in California, to which the PM mentioned about the Waves initiative, which aims to make India a global hub for creative and entertainment content. Prime Minister said that Diljit has been winning hearts all over the world, to which Diljit said he admires the Prime Minister's leadership and how he manages such a diverse nation. Diljit, in fact, we are learning, also shared a fun memory from his time in Gujarat Gift City, when he got to enjoy some jalebi and fafda, which made the experience going to Gujarat more delightful to him. As we all know, he sung a song in reverence of Guru Nanak, to which we saw the Prime Minister tapping his fingers. In fact, the two leaders, Akanksha, also talked about the band Beatles, on how they were inspired by the Indian culture. The Prime Minister also on this occasion expressed his deep respect for the sacrifice of Sahibzade, shared his vision for every child to know about their story and the reason why the government celebrates the Veer Bal Divas. Prime Minister also went back in memory to share a story about the Gurdwara in Lakhpat, Kutch, which was damaged in the earthquake of Gujarat, and how it meant a lot to him. And Modi, as the Chief Minister, had restored that particular Gurudwara. So a lot of thoughtful discussions between both the people who met yesterday, and those delightful visuals which are there for everybody to see.
All right, many thanks to you, Aman. I think those visuals speaking 1,000 words for themselves, extremely heartwarming to see, as Prime Minister also showered Diljit Dosanjh with praises. And with that, we slip into a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because on the other side, we'll be telling you all about the 3 deadly incidents that have taken place. One has already been established as a terror incident in those 3 attacks that plagued the United States in a deeply tragic start to the new year. We'll be bringing you all those details, but after a quick break. Stay tuned to Plastics.
Co-powered by.
All right, moving on to more news from United States. 15 people were killed and at least 35 injured after a man drove into large crowd in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the early hours of New Year's Day. At about 3:15 local time on New Year's Day, a Ford pickup truck rammed into crowd gathered on Bourbon Street in the heart of New Orleans, and French Quarters is where the incident has happened. And the CCTV footage shows a white Ford F-150 lightning vehicle driving onto the pavement to get around a police car before hitting the pedestrians. Now, police described the act as very intentional, adding that the attacker, identified as Samshuddin Jabbar, was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. I'm now joined by my colleague Akansha Swaroop on this broadcast. Akansha, give us more detail about this accused. What was his plan really when he rammed into this particular area?
A very good morning, Sharon. It's deeply tragic that the new year for Americans has begun on such a tragic, horrifying note. This entire incident is being treated as a terrorist act. Also, not to forget the fact that we're looking at this entire incident, that 15 people have been declared dead. Now, the FBI, which is also is already investigating this entire matter, will be able to establish the motive better. But it's important to highlight that this person entered the U.S. border just 2 days ago, and which is why the U.S. President-elect has also, in fact, denounced this entire incident as an act of terrorism. He's also gone on to condemn and blame it on illegal immigration, remember, which was a very crucial issue during his own election campaigning. And he's gone on to react by saying that when I say that criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a record level, but nobody has ever seen. Our hearts with all the innocent victims. And that's what he's now questioning, that how is such illegal immigration taking place, because this man entered the U.S. border 2 days prior to the attack through Texas. At the same time, the outgoing President Joe Biden has been also blasted for his tone-deaf reaction, because soon after the terror incident, the first tweet coming in from the U.S. President was Happy New Year, folks. And soon after, he was trolled, which is when he started reacting to the incident. And he's also gone on to talk about how he's already been briefed regarding the horrific incident that occurred in New Orleans. The FBI is taking the lead in the investigation. and is investigating this entire act of terrorism. So, as far as these are the reactions, but the fact of the matter remains, Sharon, we've seen a similar incident happen where again it was an immigrant who had done it from Saudi Arabia in that Christmas market in Germany. So, yes, we'll have to see how Donald Trump now, the incoming new administration in the White House, responds to immigration. They're certainly going to be cracking the whip as far as illegal immigrants are concerned.
Akansha, I request you to please stay with us as we are getting a reaction from US President Joe Biden on this incident.
To all the families of those who were killed, to all those who were injured, to all the people of New Orleans who are grieving today, I want you to know, I grieve with you. Our nation grieves with you. We're going to stand with you as you mourn and as you heal in the weeks to come.
Akansha, like you also mentioned earlier, that how the accused had just entered US through Texas just 2 days back, and like you also mentioned that similar incident happened in Germany as well. At that point of time also we discussed how the refugees restrictions are going to of course increase. There's of course going to be a debate about how the refugees or the outsider enter the country. This is further going to of course escalate the entire debate over the issue.
Oh, absolutely it is, because Sharon, let's apart from Germany, if you focus on what's been happening in the United States, just days ago, a lady was in fact burnt alive in the subway trains in New York City, and that was also done by an immigrant from Guatemala. He's in fact the identity of that person is he's a Guatemalan, and that again.
3 deadly attacks have rocked the United States in a span of 24 hours, triggering massive security concerns ahead of Donald Trump taking charge as the US president on 20th of January. In the first incident, a man intentionally drove a pickup truck into a crowd of revelers at Bourbon Street in New Orleans early on New Year's Day, killing at least 15 people, injuring a dozen others. A black ISIS flag was seen flying from the truck's rear bumper, and the attack is being investigated as an act of terrorism as per the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The man driving the vehicle has been identified as Shamsuddin Jabbar, a 42-year-old US citizen from Texas. Meanwhile, in Las Vegas, a Tesla Cybertruck exploded outside the Trump Towers, killing one person in the vehicle. This was a Trump hotel in Vegas. It's now being investigated as a possible act of terrorism. There are reports of an attack in New York too, which happened in the borough of Queens. While Joe Biden has condemned the attack, US President-elect Donald Trump has blamed the Biden administration for this attack and called it an act of pure evil. Trump has also linked the attack to illegal immigration, saying that criminals coming in are far worse.
Truck hits the corner and comes barreling through people, throwing people like a movie scene, like real life, throwing people into the air. They falling under the car.
Right now, our number one goal is to ensure that we have the proper identification of the subject involved in this incident. Following that, our second objective is to determine whether this was an act of terrorism or not.
To all the families of those who were killed, to all those who are injured, to all the people of New Orleans who are grieving today, I want you to know, I grieve with you. Our nation grieves with you. We're going to stand with you.
right, Cheryl Tay, who's the news editor at Business Insider, joins me live with more perspective. Thank you, Cheryl, for joining in on CNN News 18. Now, given that the FBI is treating the New Orleans attack as a terror incident and not overruling a link between the Vegas blast and the New Orleans attack, what does it speak of the security threat to the United States at the moment?
I think what's happening is that the U.S. is treating this not only just as isolated incidents for now, but expecting the potential and not ruling out the possibility that more information could come out down the road. Of course, there is a lot that we don't know yet, and we're waiting on law enforcement to give some clarity as to whether there are indeed links between the three incidents. Currently, that is unclear.
Is the New Orleans attack an indication that ISIS is still not completely wiped out of Middle East and has only evolved in its overall terror module, one that's shifted online, given that we've seen the ISIS flag being used? It was very much there on that truck that was used in New Orleans.
It's currently unclear if the attack in New Orleans was directed by or inspired by ISIS. There needs to be a clear demarcation between the two. But as of now, the fact that a flag was found at the site, that gives some indicator as to what the alleged suspect's motivations might be. In general, I would say that back in 2017, a U.S.-led coalition ousted some fighters from strongholds in Iraq and Syria. And in 2019, former President Donald Trump at the time declared a victory over ISIS. But it seems that the ideology is still alive and well online. Just as soon as this year, experts in the field have warned that there could be burgeoning cells online that need to be addressed. So, yes.
Right. Cheryl, the FBI, with regards to the New Orleans incident, has in fact said that this can't be seen in isolation and that they are not overruling the fact that there could be a larger sort of gang involved. But having said that, what are going to be the immediate concerns, in your viewpoint, that the FBI will be focusing on in terms of its trajectory of the investigation? Because remember, reports are also indicating that there are going to be concerns in terms of, are there any more attacks planned? Are there more people involved who perhaps could be still at large within the United States?
What we do know about the suspect is that he might have had help in the attack. The FBI has not ruled that out, and investigations are continuing, even beyond New Orleans and into Texas and into his motivations online. We're getting a little bit more clarity this morning in the U.S. Right. So, yes, I think that there are several events coming up in New Orleans as well, and security is being boosted as we speak.
Cheryl, there's also the issue of immigration, which is being highlighted by the President-elect Donald Trump. The alleged shooter was not an immigrant. It's also not been confirmed if the Vegas incident had anything to do with terrorism just yet. So are these attacks also shaping the political narrative?
Most certainly. I think you're very much in the money with that. The incidents are definitely shaping the narrative in real time. Trump is responding to that in real time, talking about open borders in posts on Truth Social, pointing the finger at immigration. I need to note again that the alleged shooter, was not an immigrant and was a man from Texas. So while that might be part of the narrative, more needs to be found out about whether immigration has anything to do with the incident at all.
That's true. And in fact, these are developing stories, that too happening at a parallel level as we speak. Many thanks to you, Cheryl Tay, for joining in. It was a pleasure speaking to you over here at CNN News 18. And in fact, I'm also joined in by Leigh Waldman, our CNN correspondent, who's joining me live from New Orleans. Thank you, Leigh, for joining in. Could you share with us the latest that you're picking up from FBI's investigation so far regarding the suspect in New Orleans?
Well, what we're hearing right now from the law enforcement who is investigating this, we're hearing brand new that President Joe Biden will convene the Homeland Security team in the Situation Room in Washington, D.C. at 12:15 for a briefing on what's happening here in New Orleans. But we're also hearing law enforcement has concluded its search of a home in Houston that they believe is connected with Shamsuddin Jabbar, the suspect who is connected with this attack here in New Orleans. Now, the very latest we're hearing from the FBI is they have cleared Bourbon Street, which you can see behind me. They have cleared this as a crime scene. We've seen sanitation crews coming through, clearing off the street here, but the street is not officially open yet. That's a decision that's up to the New Orleans Police Department itself. So we're not seeing that officially opened to the public just yet. So they're trying to definitively link if this suspect, Jabbar, was directed by ISIS or if he was simply inspired by ISIS. They're also trying to determine if he was working alone or if he had others who were working with him.
Lay, why is the FBI probing of a possible link between New Orleans attack and the Las Vegas explosion?
Right now, authorities are investigating any possible links between those two attacks, but they aren't at this point saying that the two are definitively linked. So there are some coincidences or similarities between these two attacks. Both of the suspects in these two cases are military veterans, and both of the vehicles used in these attacks are rented vehicles from the same rental vehicle site, Turo. So there's no definitive link at this point, but authorities are investigating any of these possible links between the two. We know that there's going to be an updated press conference from the Las Vegas Police Department investigating that crime there.
Many thanks to you, Leigh Waldman, for bringing us all those latest updates. Thank you for joining in. Thoroughly appreciate. And with that, let me bring in our next guest. I'm also joined in by Edward P. Joseph of John Hopkins SAIS. Thank you, Edward, for joining in on CNN News 18. Pleasure to have you, as always. 3 attacks, out of which 2 are being probed as linked incidents of terrorism. What does it speak of the threat to U.S. national security and the changing face of terrorism?
Akanksha, first, very good to see you. Happy New Year to you and, of course, to all of your viewers. And this is a reminder here of simply the vulnerability of any society, any open society, to this type of a suicide terrorist attack. This is not unique by any means to the United States. In fact, this very type of attack just occurred a few weeks ago in Germany at a Christmas market. And there's simply no real defense against someone who's determined to take the lives of innocent people. You simply cannot defend every possible public space. So there's an inherent vulnerability here that exists in any open society. And that's a fact. And so the emphasis goes on intelligence gathering. And of course, the United States has actually been quite effective at that, at penetrating a lot of organizations, at catching a lot of individuals who otherwise would have attempted such attacks. But you can't get 100%, Akanksha. It's simply not possible.
So it's interesting that you talk about intelligence gathering, because that's why I have to refer to what happened in October. An Afghan national was arrested in October last year for plotting an election day terrorist attack in the name of ISIS, not to forget the recent German Christmas market attack. Given such threats, do you think that the US security was not adequately ramped up around a critical timing like New Year's?
Akanksha, of course, you can, and there will be, as there are in any, and this is, of course, the inherent advantage of it in a democratic society, is that there is accountability. There's accountability for officials. So there will have to be accountability for the police, for the city of New Orleans, for others, when they look at their security procedures and where they know in Bourbon Street, where a lot of people are going to congregate, what type of obstacles do they have in place? And they will do that. I'm confident the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana and others will do that. But it's simply, the focus cannot be on you have to prevent every single attack. You cannot. If someone walks into a store today and opens fire, there's simply no defense against that, against someone. Again, the real way, the most effective way, is through prevention. And the U.S. has been remarkably effective at penetrating a lot of these cells, at using informants and getting informants to discuss. There have been a number of attacks, potential attacks, where the informants, the FBI, in a very clever way, engages then in a conversation with the individual. And there was one where the individual was headed to Canada bringing in his materials into Canada, attempting an attack in the United States. But Akansha, there's a wider question here. There's a wider political question here as to what animates someone to do this. Why would someone here, an Army veteran who's lived in the United States, American citizen, obviously completely part of our fabric and our society.
And that's why I am coming to my next question, Edward. The US President-elect Donald Trump was quick in attacking the Biden administration for its border wall policy, even though the New Orleans attacker is not an undocumented immigrant. Why is immigration going to be now at the forefront? Should it also not be about addressing the issue of terrorism, one that's emanating from Middle East?
Akansha, I'm glad you raised that because it's absurd for President-elect Trump to reference this in the context of immigration. This was a U.S. citizen. He is an Army veteran. I'm an Army veteran. I mean, you can't get more established into our society than serving in our military services. So it's absurd to raise this in the context of immigration. It's not, and that has not traditionally or always been the source. 9/11, different case, but in many cases there were other terrible attacks, an ISIS-related attack in California that did not have an immigration component to it either. So it's false to that. The wider question, Akansha, is the ideology, this persistent ideology. What is animating this? And let's turn here. And I think, Akansha, what's so interesting is 2025 as we enter this year versus 2024. 2024 was all about Gaza, Israel, phrases like globalize the intifada, the protests, and so forth. And then, of course, we had the dramatic turnaround in Lebanon, the dramatic turnaround in Syria with the fall of Bashar Assad. And I will just share with you, Akansha, the question we should all be asking about the motivation for this nihilistic, destructive motivation that we're going to somehow advance our goals by attacking completely innocent, random people.
Right.
And I refer you to two quotes here, please, from the New York Times, that in Lebanon, after finally, thankfully, the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, there were two different quotes that stand out to me. One Lebanese citizen said, you know what? Why do we citizens of Lebanon have to suffer because Israel and Palestinians have a dispute? We want to have a normal country here. We want to build our country. That's one Lebanese citizen. The other Lebanese citizen, obviously a partisan of Hezbollah, comes to destroy neighborhood south of Beirut, southern part of Beirut. And you know what he says, Akansha? He says, the resistance continues. Right. Resistance to what?
Right.
What?
Right.
This is the question. You have one choice in the Middle East of citizens who want to build their country, who want to create a future for the children.
That's why, Edward, I want to ask, when you talk about Donald Trump's promises of ending the two wars, have they been premature promises given the security challenges now coming to the forefront in the United States? Given the fragile timing of these attacks also, you're days away from the 4th anniversary of the Capitol riot and Trump's inauguration. Are the 3 attacks now a wake-up call for the incoming Trump administration and the challenges that await him in his own country?
I think, Akansha, yes, to some degree, and it's a good point that you raised. Of course, this is a reminder, simply a reminder, but of the threat that comes from this extremist ideology that promotes this nihilistic, destructive ideology that indoctrinates people into thinking that they're somehow accomplishing something by attacking these random people. One was a young woman who was about to enter nursing school.
Yes.
And so what have you accomplished by this destruction? That's why I'm telling you, those 2 different choices, to build or to destroy. Those are the 2 ideologies that we create. But yes, Akansha, you're right. It's a reminder of the threat. But I don't believe the United States ever took its eye off the ball. I don't think that that's accurate. Again, I tell you, the FBI has caught a number of potential perpetrators in very sophisticated ways of trying to prevent, but you simply cannot prevent all attacks.
Let's see.
Please.
Let's see what's in store when Donald Trump comes to the White House on 20th. Many thanks to you, Edward, for joining in. It was a pleasure speaking to you as always. And I leave you with a report on these attacks. Thank you so much for watching. Up next is the Hard Facts with Rahul Shivshankar.
More than a dozen people were killed by a man crashing his pickup truck into a crowd in New Orleans on New Year's Day. Several more people were injured by the attack on revelers in the city's French Quarter. Reuters obtained the following of first responders in the aftermath. Some viewers may find graphic. It happened around 3:15 a.m. at the intersection of Canal and Bourbon Streets, a historic tourist destination. An eyewitness said she heard the rev of an engine, a loud impact, then screams.
And debris, just metal, the sound of crunching metal and bodies.
Police say the driver was 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, an army veteran from Texas. Officers said they found an ISIS flag in the vehicle. Jabbar was said to be in full military gear, subsequently got in a shootout with police and was killed. The incident has prompted an investigation into possible links to terrorist organizations. Investigators say they found weapons and potential explosives in the suspect's vehicle. They also say he may not have acted alone. A search is ongoing for his known associates. Public records show Jabbar worked in real estate in Houston. He had spent 10 years in the US military as a human resources and IT specialist and had been deployed to Afghanistan. US President Joe Biden condemned the attack in a media briefing and revealed more details about Jabbar.
The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill.
Biden also said investigators were checking for any link to a vehicle explosion outside Trump Tower in Las Vegas, but that no evidence had been found so far. ISIS, also called Islamic State or ISIL, is a Muslim militant group. It once imposed a reign of terror in Iraq and Syria until it collapsed from fighting a US-led coalition. Experts say ISIS has continued to recruit sympathizers online. Following the attack, New Orleans postponed college football's Sugar Bowl, which is played each year on New Year's Day. The city will also be the site of the NFL Super Bowl on February 9th.
Green Lamb Laminates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
We're live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studios, brought to you by Green Lamb Laminates. Viewers, what we do from this year on, 2025, how we do it and with what motive in mind we do it, will all go to determine if India will achieve superpower status by 2050. We have 25 years, one generation, viewers, just one generation. The one thing that's needed is education And the government has begun on the right note by proceeding to flag off 2 new campuses in the capitals East and West. So in East Delhi and West Delhi. The emphasis on education augurs well, viewers. At least the government is thinking about creating the skilled human resource we need to power India forward. The disciples of learning that will graduate from these temples more than any others will lay the foundation of a Viksit Bharat. Never forget. But unfortunately, the opposition is not in step with the government. Once again, viewers, they are having a meltdown, an absolute meltdown today. The point of discord is about the name that has been given to the campuses, especially one name, that of Veer V.D. Savarkar, Veer Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. Big problem, viewers. The Congress says we can't have a college campus named after Savarkar because he wasn't a patriot or a freedom fighter, and he was in fact none of these, but he was a coward who apologized to the British, who surrendered his absolute independence of means and thought to the British. You know, viewers, the usual litany of grouses were taken out one by one. PM Modi is to lay the foundation stones for these 2 new DU campuses. On the eve of this, we have a massive, as I told you, squall, because these campuses will be named after V.D. Savarkar and Sushma Swaraj. Sushma Swaraj is not the problem. V.D. Savarkar has become a problem. And remember, viewers, that the plans were approved by DU's Executive Council in 2021. This rupees 140 crore project will offer a built-up area of about 18,800